tips, tools, and insights for life. Thank you once again for being here. I am so honored to be with you. This has been a real transition to figure out how to do the live streaming via restream.io. So I hope you're getting it both on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, so today we've been dealing with the series Time for Restoration and an Upgrade. That's the topic we've been talking about all month. And today, specifically, we've been talking about last week and today about not selling yourself short, basically, how to know your worth. And today we are capturing part two of that. However, we have had many people ask about recapping as I go. So today we'll be doing a brief recap of all of this month. But before I do that, I want to remind you that we have all had people question our identity. I know I've had it. And they've questioned our worth. Is she really worth this much or that much? And because we are not always confident about ourselves and our worth, we basically sell ourselves short. So I ask you this question: what is your self-worth? It's really so critical to know that, because your self-worth is connected to your identity, and knowing your identity is so very critical. So as I recap these sessions, I would like you to think of that. What do you value? What value do you place on yourself? Last week I shared about a bill, money. The fact that you can crumple it, you can throw it, you can do so many things with it. But when you pick it up, it's still worth the money, the value of that, a very steadfast value. It doesn't change. However, with you and I, when we go through challenging times, we get stronger, we become better. We don't just stay the same. We don't have the same value after we've gone through some challenging things. So, again, thank you for joining me. If this is your first time joining me, please do me a favor, share this video, give me some hearts, some likes, some shares, and yeah, just let me know that you're out there. That's so important to me, to helping us move forward with this program. So thank you again. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It's simple: Sharon A. Joseph, DTM. Sharon A. Joseph, DTM, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, if you've got a story that you'd like to share with me about your breakthrough or your challenges and how you've dealt with it, I encourage you to send me a story, send me a note, let me know, how this has impacted you, or how you deal with your own challenges and how you've broken out of them. You can do so by sending me an email to breakthroughtti@gmail.com. That's breakthrough, one word, tti@gmail.com. And what else? I am now on TikTok. I'm so excited. My website, my SAJ Consulting website, it should be up by the end of tomorrow. And what else is happening? I'm so excited because God has really blessed me and is now allowing me to not just be a life and career coach, but also to be a business coach, to help businesses grow and thrive. And it's just so wonderful because it's not just one or two clients, but an entire city of businesses. And that's a real blessing. So if you like a coach, a career coach, a life coach, would you give me a call? I'd love to be your coach and help you walk through life and life's challenges. Okay, so we started this new segment about giving you updates on what's taking place. And one of them is that Travis Montez, he is a business person. He owns a studio in my area here, and he has agreed to be my audio producer. Such an amazing guy. He's also going to be my photographer, my official photographer. So when you see the pictures on my website, it would be from GVO, which stands for Good Vibes Only Production. So thank you, Travis, for being part of my life and being an amazing destiny helper. Okay, so I told you about that new project I'm starting with helping businesses. Please keep me in prayer. I need it. I need it. I need it. And I have now held myself accountable to you for writing this book, Living and Leading with Passion and Purpose. I started it many years ago, and I am going to keep myself accountable to you as I push through and complete it. So thank you again. Okay, so here's a brief recap about what we did this month. So we began this month talking about upgrades and restoration. Then we went into how do I know that this is the right plan or the right upgrade for me. And the next thing we spoke about was, or we did this last week, was knowing your self-worth. Knowing your self-worth. That's so very critical. And breakthrough, the essence of what we do here is all about helping others know their self-worth. Breakthrough is all about helping you live and lead with passion and purpose. It's all about knowing and understanding that you and I were created with a purpose to impact this world, not just this world on a mega scale. Like you think, well, I'm not Google, I'm not Facebook. Can I tell you, you can impact the world right where you are, right in your sphere of influence, right in your city or your job or in your own family. So be mindful of that, because breakthrough is all about helping us recognize that our mind is our most valuable asset, our very most valuable asset. Everything we do, say, and think starts in our mind. So it is our most valuable asset. And we need to also remember that breakthrough is not just a one and done thing. It's about deliberately influencing people and impacting this world with a spirit of excellence. It's not a one and done thing, because sometimes, some days when I get off this program, I think to myself, oh man, Sharon, you didn't do as well as you wanted to, or you spoke too quickly, or any of those things. You know, we are so very critical about ourselves. But what I'm telling you is breakthrough is all about not just doing it one time and being done, but it's a consistent, intentional endeavor to do better next time. So I'm encouraging you to consistently work on improving and upgrading your life, because that's what would truly bring out the excellence and the greatness that's in us. So thank you again for being here. Okay, so 2021, I said, is our year or time for restoration and upgrade. So the first week of this month, I said that basically I encouraged you to establish a mission statement, and don't just feel, well, okay, I'm going to join the gym, and then the first or second week you just skip out on it and forget that you made that resolution. I'm saying, instead of making resolutions, I'm saying to develop a mission statement for your life. My mission statement is basically what I talk about here all the time: using my mind as my most valuable asset, investing in me, knowing that I am my greatest investment, living with my CIA principles of character, integrity, and an amazing attitude. These are all things we can do as a mission, meaning we do it on a daily basis and not just a resolution for a specific length of time. Many resolutions are broken. A mission statement, you can live by that. So that's one of the things we spoke about in the first session. I also encouraged you to move out of your comfort zone. This is so critical. You cannot do anything great by doing what you've been doing. You know, it's been said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If that's what you've been doing by staying in your comfort zone, I encouraged you to move out of it. Your perspective, the way you think about yourself, your point of view, your attitude, it all determines your final destiny. And if you believe, well, I'm comfortable here, and this is where I'm going to stay, then you're not allowing yourself to truly accomplish your destiny and do great things. So I'm encouraging you to do that. Okay, so I encourage you also to feed your mind, your most valuable asset, with the right food by investing in yourself. Again, if you make this part of your life's mission statement, there's no way you can go wrong, because you'd always be looking for ways to make yourself better. Forgive me, I don't want to be advertising water unless yeah. So I encourage you to feed your mind with the right foods And I also told you that in order to walk confidently in the purpose in which you were created to fulfill, you need to upgrade on a continuous basis, including the relationships that are around you. You know, you can have people who are destiny helpers like Travis and so many people, or mentors, or your spiritual leaders. They can be they are destiny helpers. So embrace them. Toxic relationships, get rid of them. Move beyond your fears. Move beyond that comfort and conformity that you're used to, and grow. Stand confidently behind the rock, behind your creator. I say, my rock, he is higher than I am. He is higher than all, and that there's nothing he cannot do. So I'm encouraging you also to know that there's nothing he cannot do, and live knowing that he's with you, leading, guiding you as well. So, okay, I'm just throwing things around here, so forgive me. So yes, so move beyond your fears and conformity and do something great and grow. You have your entire life's purpose ahead of you, waiting on you to be fulfilled. So don't just sit back, relax, and think that's it. No, move beyond who you think you are. I also shared 10 things in which you can do to know if a plan is right for you. In the first session, I also spoke about the fact that when you upgrade, there are some areas you need to upgrade in personally, professionally, or purposefully and spiritually. We need to upgrade in those areas, because if we don't, we'll be lacking in many areas. I ask you to ask yourself some questions, and I'm going to ask you again to do just that. Ask yourself, what happened in your life last year, and what are some lessons you learned, and what are some changes you can make this year? What were some of your challenges? What were some of the wonderful things or triumphs you had last year that you could repeat or change, modify this year? Ask yourself these questions, because this self-evaluation is so critical to us getting or moving to our next step. Whereas if you're thinking of doing something great and you've been doing it at one level, if you don't learn the other level, or if you don't recognize the mistakes you're making at this level, you'd make the same mistakes when you go to your next level. So be mindful of that. And I ask you to think about, what are some areas you need restoration and upgrade in? What is your vision for your future? No one else can have a better vision for your future, knowing who you are and what you're capable of, than you. So I encourage you to allow yourself to spend some time. And by the way, this is something I do every single year. For the first 3 weeks of the year, or sometimes in this case, the start of the second week, spend time with your creator. And this is a word that people don't like a lot, the word fast and the word prayer. But can I tell you, that's one of the main ways you truly understand what you're capable of and how to go about doing great things in this time in your life and in other people's lives, how you can be a blessing. So be mindful of that. Okay, so continually work on expanding. Look to your creator to help you, because he's the only one who knows his real and true plans for you, to help you in any area you feel weak in. If you feel it's difficult to move out of your comfort zone, ask him. I promise you, if you ask, you will receive. Know the areas in which you are challenged in, and figure out ways of working through them. I told you in week 3, or the question was, is this the right plan for me? How can you be confident that all of the plans you've made and all of the upgrades you want to accomplish, that you're making the right plans and taking the right actions to accomplish them? And in that program, I gave you 10 ways in which you can know if you're making the right decision. I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel so you can find those out. The one thing I want to remind you is that you are you have your mind, I'm sorry, just lost my train of thought of thought for a second. You have your mind, and if you establish standards by which to live by, for example, if you choose to live with character, integrity, and an amazing attitude, there's nothing you cannot do. Can I tell you, people may want to question how you look. They may want to question your background, your race, and your size, and so many other things. Your accent and so many things they may want to question, but people cannot question integrity. They cannot question good standards. They cannot question things like excellence. So they may want to, but excellence speaks for itself. And no one can truly pay for excellence, but many people are willing to pay more than for if when you bring excellence, they're willing to pay you for it, and it doesn't discriminate. So be mindful of that. And I may repeat this again because I think it's so very important. Many times we are operating below our standards. I'm encouraging you to create standards, create ways of operating that will allow you to use your wisdom, use your knowledge, use your understanding at a level that people would be willing to pay anything for it. Remember in Proverbs 4:7, it says, wisdom is the principal thing, but in all you're getting, get understanding, because you cannot apply wisdom and then, okay, so knowledge comes first, then wisdom, because you cannot, but when it says understanding is the principle, get understanding, it's saying that unless you have understanding of a situation, you can't apply the right wisdom to take care of it. So wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is really critical. Get those as you move forward. Strive for it. Can I tell you, we can learn so much from YouTube, from Google, from just asking questions. And only when we do that can we move from one level to another. The other topic we started last week about knowing your self-worth, I think this is so critical to talking about the amount of money we make, not just as a person working in our young age, but as we mature and grow older. Knowing our self-worth can either bring us money or take away from us. Which one is it doing for you? You are able to do so much more than you can ever think or hope. You have it in you right now. It's not something you have to go learn and grow in a garden. It's already in your soil, in your DNA. So I'm encouraging you to look into yourself. And if it's money and you're lacking money, think about what your many, many skills and how can you use them to earn. That's what I've been doing. As I talk to you, I'm actually doing these things myself. Like over the holiday season, I baked and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful time for me to learn and grow. And in the process, I earned as well. Okay, so talking about knowing our self-worth, I said that our identity and how we see ourselves is the most critical determining factor of our success or failure in life. It is the single most important knowledge we must have in order to live and lead with passion and accomplish our life's purpose. Be mindful of that. Knowing our identity is the only way to basically have lasting confidence and live and operate confidently in every situation, no matter what where you find yourself. It is the only way we can successfully accomplish our life's purpose, by knowing our identity. Until we do that, we are just, playing around and not really, we are kind of like moving in mud, slowly, not really accomplishing much. So be mindful of that. Okay, so most importantly, I said that our identity is linked to whose we are. And I shared the story with you about when I worked on Wall Street and my executive director asked me, what makes you different than every other Black person I know? And my response to him was, I know who I am because I know whose I am. Do you know whose you are? Do you know who you belong to? And if you don't, I encourage you to check out your owner's manual. It tells you exactly everything about you. So be mindful of that. Learn about it. I used an analogy, or I like to use this analogy, that if you bought a Lamborghini, you expect it to go fast. You just expect it to move quickly, right? It's a sports car. It's top of the line. You expect the manufacturers to deliver on what they say it can do. Move fast. It's a sports car. Versus a Ford. A Lamborghini and a Ford, they're in two very different categories. So you don't expect a Ford to go as well or as fast or to operate as well as a Lamborghini. And you wouldn't take a Lamborghini to a Ford maker or to be fixed either. So too with you. You are such high quality that you can only go back to your maker, your creator, to get information, get insights, and get directions on how you should operate. So I'm encouraging you to do just that. We are capable of doing so much more than we are doing right now. Our identity, like our mind, is our most valuable asset. You need to know that you are worth so much more than anyone can ascribe value to you. Know that our self worth is inextricably tied to our identity. Do you identify as a minority? Do you identify as uneducated, too fat, too thin? I'm just a nobody, trying to be somebody. Whatever you're identifying with eventually becomes who you are. So you've got to be very careful not to identify with the wrong thing. Our identity, or the way we see ourselves determines the value and the value that other people place in us as well. Our self-worth and eventually our success or failure in life determines or is determined based on how we see ourselves. So remember, the way you see yourself in your mind's eyes and your assessment of your self-worth, again, it all starts in your mind. Remember that what you accept from our society, it changes your true opinion of who, not your opinion, it changes who you are. If you accept something like, well, you're black and you're nobody, then guess what? You will project that to society and you would not ever project your true value. So you've got to deliberately reject anything, any any label that society or anyone else wants to put on you, because sometimes our family members try to put labels on us as well. Reject them and be determined to accomplish who you were created to be. How do you know who you were created to be? Check out your owner's manual. Society uses so many different classifications on us. They use race, gender, religion. They use where you were born, or the country you were born in, the accent you carry, where you work, where you live. So many different things they use to try and break down your confidence, to help you not see your true self-worth. Be mindful of that. People who use race as a pawn, or religion or money, whatever they're trying to use against you, they are basically attempting to use that to demean you, to try and lift up themselves. So you've got to be mindful of that and don't fall for their ploy. It's just not who you are. And also, you need to raise your standards. And this is so important. Your value is determined not just based on who you are, but the standards or principles by which you live by. Raise your standards and you'll raise your self worth. What you expect or tolerate from yourself and others will ultimately determine your value, or let them know the value you place on yourself. I've shared this story with you many times that men, guys, the opposite sex, or people in general, they cannot come and just touch me, or grab on me or hold me or anything like that. I have established these set of standards that tell people, friend or foe, that you are not allowed to cross that boundary. We don't have such a relationship. And I may love them because I truly, truly do love people, but I don't allow people to disrespect me or basically break down the boundary and reduce my standard by touching and grabbing on me. What are your standards? Have you developed some standards that you live by? I encourage you to develop principles to live by. This will determine your standards, will determine your daily habits, and how you see yourself and how you allow others to deal with you and treat you. Be mindful of that. I told you about myself. People can try to judge or label me based on the fact that, well, you're black, well, you're Caribbean, well, you're, a Caribbean American, or you speak too quickly, or you speak too slow, or you used to have a speech impediment. Many people like to pull you down by using the used tos. Or I know you used to be a drug addict, or you used to be running with so and so. Be mindful of those, because those are ways in which they're trying to reduce your self-worth. Okay, what about your beliefs? Because what you believe about yourself and your identity and your self-worth basically it can either break you down or elevate you. I encourage you to think well of yourself. I'm not saying think more highly than you should. I'm saying think well of yourself, because when you think well of you, other people will get that as well, and they'll think well of you. So be mindful of how you think about yourself. What people think about you is not so important. What you think about yourself is most important. Remember that as you go, people would try and classify you or break you down to help build themselves up. Many people do that. Be watchful of them. Okay, get to know you. Because until you get to know you, your good and your bad, you wouldn't, if you don't know what your good is and what your bad is, you wouldn't know what has to be changed. So get to know you. Do a serious assessment of who you are and where you're weak and where you're strong. Because in doing that, it will allow you to basically have a list of areas of improvement. And until you do that, you'd still be wondering, who really am I? Who do people say I am? You may be wondering, versus who am I as a person? I encourage you to look at your owner's manual and ask that question. And when someone asks, who do you think you are, ask them, who are you and who do you think you are? Focus on you. Remind them, focus on themselves as you focus on you. If I were to leave one really important thing with you, I'd say establish daily habits, or establish standards in which to live by. For example, I keep sharing this with you because it's so critical. In order to establish and maintain your self-worth, you've got to live by standards. If you're wishy-washy, today you're up and tomorrow you're down, or today you have standards and tomorrow you break them, people wouldn't take you seriously. So know your self-worth, establish standards, and live by them. I share mine with you about character, integrity, and an amazing attitude. I'm encouraging you to use my CIA principles, or create your own. But whatever you do do it on a consistent daily basis, and that in fact would increase your worth. I shared my story with you about when I was working on Wall Street and I wanted to move from one department to another. I challenged myself. I gave myself 90 days in which to implement some things in that new department, if I were hired, that no one else did. Everyone came of, just nervous about interviewing with a panel of 8 or 9 people. And there I was presenting a plan of action. And people were looking at me like, Sharon, you just told them that you would leave in 3 months if you don't fulfill this. Yes, because I lifted my own standards. I said, I have now given them this. I will accomplish it. So challenge yourself, give yourself something to live by, give yourself something to go after. And I promise you, if you do that, you would start lifting your standards simply by doing so. I hope this series has been beneficial to you. All of these videos will now be living on YouTube. I'm trying to migrate from having to do it on Facebook, then upload it to YouTube. So we are now doing the dual streaming, and we hope to be streaming on more channels soon. But for now, I just want to encourage you, whatever you do, consistently continue to live by standards. Know your self-worth and live it. Don't just give up. Don't accept what people call you. Don't accept, unless it's in line with who you are. You are great. You're fantastic. You're meant to do great things. You are the apple of God's eye, created to impact this world with the greatness that's within you. If it's not anything like that, don't accept it. If they're calling you names that are not progressive and moving forward, don't accept it. Establish boundaries. Say no, and then maintain those boundaries, because people are willing, and I know it personally because I have had my best friend who broke every boundary. He's no longer my best friend, but I'm saying that I've had him. He broke every single boundary and was slowly breaking down who I was. And I thought to myself, no, I am meant for more than this. So I'm saying to you, you are meant for more than who you are, where you are right now. So consistently create plans to make your life better and establish who the great person that you are. Okay, with that said, now may I pray for you? I want you to know that even when I'm not here with you, you're in my prayer. Every single person who listens to this broadcast, I pray for you before I come on and when I go off. I pray that you use the principles that I share with you here to truly lift yourself to another level and have an amazing life. So right now, as I pray for you, I pray in the name of Jesus that you'd use the tips, the tools, the insights that I share on this program, Breakthrough, to truly upgrade your life, upgrade the standards of your life, and establish the boundaries that are necessary, and that you move out of your comfort zone to truly accomplish the great purpose in which you were created for. I pray that the tips, tools, and insights I share here would help you to truly walk in the purpose in which you were created for, and walking it passionately, walk in your purpose with love and gratitude, walk in your purpose in a way that would impact every single person who comes around you in your family and beyond. I pray that God will help us to live and lead with passion and purpose as we choose to live with character, integrity, and an amazing attitude. I thank God for you. I thank God for the provision of you being out there and sharing this video and sharing what you've learned here with other people. I pray that you use your life as a candle, knowing that if you light someone else's a lit candle, knowing that if you light someone else's candle, you're not diminishing your light, but you're bringing more illumination. I pray in the name of Jesus that you be the best person that God has created you to be. And God, we know that we can only do that if we trust you with all of our hearts and depend not on what we know or our own understanding. Help us then to seek you for help and directions in all that we do, say, and think, knowing that you will direct us in your path and upgrade us and help us to be the person you have created us to be. Until next month, when we talk a little about the amazing history of Black people, your creation, we thank you for this week, that it will be an exceptional week, all things working in our favor. Until then, have an amazing week. And again, thank you so much for being with me and sharing this evening.